Hello, my friends. Welcome to something new. This is Prof from the Prof and Dev Play Games podcast, but I'm here alone. This podcast is the RPG Backlog. It is a podcast that I am interested in doing because for 2024, I decided I was going to spend a lot more time playing games on my backlog than buying new games, because I've purchased many new games over the years and had the intent to play them and maybe played a little bit, put them away. Anyone who's listening to this podcast who's a gamer knows the concept of a backlog. As I started playing through my backlog this year, I started playing some really good RPGs, finished off Elden Ring, and had an experience playing Final Fantasy VII Remake that just lit a fire under me about wanting to play the best RPGs that I'd missed. So I took a look through my backlog and realized I had a ton of RPGs to play through, so I decided I was going to do a offshoot podcast from Prof and Dev Play Games. I was going to do the RPG Backlog, and I was going to play through those games and talk about them. And as I like to do, I love podcasts as a way to connect with friends, so I decided to invite friends to do different podcasts with me, different games with me, experience those games together. And it's led to very vibrant discussions with my friends in our Discord and about these games. And just lining up the schedule and figuring out who can play what when. It's been really fun. It's been a great way to connect with my friends and hopefully to connect with the audience here. So we've got a lot of great stuff coming in this podcast feed. Certainly we're going to be hitting Final Fantasies. We're going to be hitting Undertale, a game that I've never played, but I think I should. Persona. We're going to hit the Legend of Mana, that series, the Mana series. Trial series, Tales series. We're going to hit things that have been sitting there and I haven't played them and I want to. And the reason why this is important to me is just how rich and deep the experience that I've had with certain RPGs that have been touchstones in my life, my gaming life at least. I came back to gaming full speed in 2014 after being away for a very long time. And in 2015 I played Witcher 3. And in 2016, I played Mass Effect 2 after playing Mass Effect 1. And both of those are touchstones that kind of link to this third game, Final Fantasy VII Remake, where they're these games that are so rich and deep, full of character, full of story, full of choice. The narrative is just super engaging. There are things that I haven't experienced in video games or other media. I don't watch a ton of movies. I do watch a lot of TV with my wife. I do read a lot of books and experience stories in that way, and they're all valid and great, and I love that. But there's something about the interactive fiction quality of a video game, the interactive narrative of those three games specifically, even though I would say Final Fantasy VII Remake isn't really interactive on the surface, and I think as we move into Rebirth, there's maybe a little bit more interactivity, but that's more linear, straightforward storytelling. But the connective fiber in those three is the depth of the story and the characters. Like, I felt like I lived with all of my crewmates on Mass Effect 2, Triss and Yen in Witcher 3, Dandelion as well, obviously, in Geralt's story. And then, with Final Fantasy VII Remake, Tifa, Aerith, Cloud, Barrett, toward the end, Red 13, who wasn't on the stage for very long, but had a pretty big impact on the narrative for me, and I felt like I wanted to know more about that character. All these things just sung out to me. Dude, there are things that you haven't played that have, this type of interaction with characters. It's like, I always describe it as chasing the high. When I finish a book, when I finish a game, I'm immediately thinking, what can I play next? What can I play next to give me this experience? And my wife always kind of makes fun of me about it because I'm always thinking about what's next as soon as I'm finishing something, whereas she likes to linger with the thing for a long time. So I am chasing that high, and that high the story high, the interactive fiction high. It comes from these RPGs, so I'm chasing that high. I want to find more of those experiences, in Yakuza or Final Fantasy, Cyberpunk 2077 even, which is something I haven't touched more than 5 to 10 hours. That's on the backlog as well. So that's what I'm here for. That's what this podcast is about. It's about me playing through role-playing games with friends, playing games, and discussing them in depth. Each game is going to have several podcasts talking about what we've experienced in the game, the story, the gameplay, everything. Bringing in outside information, everything all together is something that we're looking at with the RPG Backlog podcast. So thanks for being here. I'm glad you're here for the ride. If you're here from the Prof and Dev Play Games podcast, welcome. If you're new, welcome. If you don't know about the Prof and Dev Play Games podcast, it's a podcast my friend Anthony, who's a game developer, and I have been doing since 2015. It's just a weekly news show where we talk about the gaming news and what we've been playing. It's a lot of fun, so check it out if you haven't. And stick around here. Like, subscribe, rate, all that stuff. We will be putting out episodes. The goal is to do it weekly, so you should see something new from the games that are in the pipeline, so to speak, on a weekly basis until we're finished with a game, and then we'll take a little hiatus and come back with the next game. So thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of the ride. Again, I'm Prof Plays Games. Prof Plays Games on Blue Sky. Prof Plays Games on certain and several video game consoles and networks and things like that. So glad you're here, and I'm also glad that you love RPGs as much as I do. All right, see ya.